Hello there, White Sox fans. With a bunch of recent moves, we are way overdue to update our 5-year projections on what the rotation and the starting lineup is going to look like this year and for the next 5 years beyond. Of course, before we start to make changes, let's see where we left off. And wow, this has not aged well. Obviously, the last time we updated this was before Garrett Crochet was even traded. And let's see, who do we have? But we don't even have Sean Burke penciled in anywhere yet. So we did not know he was going to be a regular part of the rotation. Obviously, the White Sox made some other pickups during this year. Nothing is super crazy. I mean, Nick Nastrini is no longer with the team. Looking at Jake Eder or Jared Schuster to be a closer because we had no idea about a year ago who the closer would be. Now we can pretty confidently, at least for this year, say Grant Taylor. And actually, I do have to say Sir Anthony Dominguez is in that mix as well. So at least we have options. Before I was just throwing darts in the darkness. There's a lot to update here on the pitching side. Next, looking at the infield, and I'll start with both of our catching positions. I had Edgar Caro listed as our number 2 catcher, and that's true. I did not think that Kyle Teel was going to be up so soon. Actually, obviously, this was before the Crochet trade, so he wasn't even on the radar. So Corey Lee is who knows what's going to happen with him this year. Let me know what you guys want to have happen with Corey Lee. I like the guy quite a lot. I like that he's even more catching depth. He's got speed. He's out of options, so we have to carry him on the team. And he did get a little look at playing left field last year. Actually wasn't bad. Hopefully he gets a lot more reps out in left field during spring training. We'll see what happens. First base, obviously Andrew Vaughn's not there, and obviously now we have Murakami in. Second base, this is also before we had Chase Mydroth on the team. We have Colson Montgomery. I was being hopeful in putting him in here in 2025. That's worked out for us so far. Third base, either Miguel Vargas or Brian Ramos. Brian Ramos, who I liked a lot, I was rooting for him. He's been DFA'd. He's already bounced around to another couple teams. We'll see where he ends up. It's not going to be with the White Sox, though. And utility, I had Braden Shoemake. He has bounced around a little bit, too. He was with the Yankees for a little bit, and I don't even know where he's at now. I think, well, he came over from Atlanta at first, but whatever the case, he's not on board. This is where Curtis Mead was going to be, but we have so many good infielders now. I don't know if Curtis Mead is going to get pushed off the team as well. Looking at our outfield, we've got Andrew Benintendi in there, which was probably where we're going to keep him for now. Luis is gone. Going to have his replacement in-house. We hopefully it'll work out with Luis Angel Acuna. I'm going to pencil him in here at least. Right field, Dom Fletcher. This is how bad the right field situation has been for the longest time. Dominic Fletcher, who did not even break camp with the team. And then we were hoping Oscar Colas would come up. Woo! That really didn't work out. Our fourth outfielder, Zach DeLoach, he's somebody else not with the team. You know, he looked a little bit all right here or there in his very limited opportunities. And then we had Tim Elko penciled in at DH. Obviously, I have to update the years. I got to move players around, and I'll come back to you after I've made my updates. Okay, so as you might be able to tell, it's dark out now. It takes a lot of time to put this together. Honestly, it takes a lot of time to put all these videos together. So if you appreciate the effort, do please hit the like button. Something I never remember to say. But then also, most importantly, leave comments. Get in the conversation. I love to be able to chat with you. So without any further ado, let's take a look at our projection for the 5-year outlook for the White Sox. We will start with the infield, and we will end with what I think is the best news. So yeah, looking around the infield, man, I love our infield. I've said it many times, and it's more and more true. It's going to be tough to get everybody at bats. Outfield, I have the DH listed on the outfield side. I mean, we all know we got Teel and Caro. Oh, something else that's exciting about this is, especially when you look at the last few years of me doing this, and I've been doing this for a while. Black it's written in ink. This is who we know is a major league ready player. They're under contract. Or under team control, I should say. We don't have any extensions yet. I'm really curious to see when we start signing these guys to longer term extensions. So somebody like Kyle Teel, we know we have him 2026 and 2027. He's playing at, essentially the league minimum. We'll give him a little bonus here or there, but then he goes into arbitration in 2028, and he's still under control for 2028, 29, and 30. And then he becomes a free agent after that if we don't extend him. Sosa, who's been around for quite a bit longer, is still playing for essentially the league minimum this coming year, and then goes to arbitration in 2027, 28, 29. The further you get away, the more it doesn't make any sense. So I put Joshua Palacios in there. He's a lefty. He's an outfielder. I'm not really too concerned with being super accurate here. I just didn't even come up with any other ideas. As you'll see, other names will appear that would make sense there. But for first baseman, but 2030, I'm not really too worried about being accurate here. Chase Mydroth, we got him locked down. There is question if he's going to be pushed out of starting position at some point soon. This isn't trying to be accurate and predict everything that's going to happen with the White Sox. There's going to be trades that we don't see coming. People are going to get hurt, replaced. People are going to force their way on because they're just doing too well in the minor leagues. And likewise, people will falter at the major leagues and they're not going to hold on to their jobs. But this is just who we have under control. So we got Chase at second, Colson at short, Miguel Vargas, like Lenyn Sosa, he's in the same service class. So he's going to be playing for next to nothing, and then goes to Arb. And then we see Billy Carlson out there waiting in the wings. Now, I know, and we all know, that if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, Billy Carlson, that is, he's going to force his way onto this team way sooner than the year 2030. We probably will see him by 2027. Maybe he'll even get a cup of coffee in 2026. That's being very optimistic, but I think at the very least, we'll catch a glimpse of him in 2027. I didn't think I was going to have Curtis Mead still on this team, but he is a really good Leury Garcia type who can play all over the infield. I think I have him penciled in as our utility guy. And we see we've got him under team control for a long time yet. We also have our top prospect, Caleb Bonham, not too far away. He's in the lower minors still, maybe mid minors. So he needs some more seasoning. But again, just like Billy Carlson, he's going to force his way onto this team sooner than later. So that's why, even though we do have Curtis Mead under team control for a long time, I do have him nipping at his heels. And at our secondary, our backup catcher, Edgar Caro. And yeah, it's so nice to see that even if the front office does nothing, we have a lot of really good pieces in place. Not many holes to fill, especially around the infield, but really all over. We'll go next to where we have a lot less certainty, which is the outfield. And we see that, yes, of course, we still have Andrew Benintendi under contract for the next 2 years. Benintendi had moments last year where he was good. He was solid. His defense might be pushing him out of the outfield, and we don't really have room at DH. So if he gets pushed out of the outfield, he's going to be just sitting on the bench. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to have every opportunity. There's so much money invested in him right now. Even though the big picture, the White Sox salary, the White Sox payroll is pretty low, but Benintendi is a huge chunk of that. So, that shouldn't be a reason a guy gets playing time, but it might work out that way. We'll see. He's got 2 years left. I could see the White Sox cutting bait with him before 2027. And hey, if he gets off to a good start, he might be a trade candidate. And then we have George Wolko. Again, here's a guy that might push his way onto the team. He's already gotten a look at the big league level. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets called up. He's probably not far away. He's probably one of those guys, one of the first guys to get the call. If there's an injury, there's an additional spot on the roster needed. And then we have Luis Angel Acuna, huge question mark. Can he stick in center field? He's gotten reps there in his life. He's played there a lot in the minor leagues, but most of his major league experience is in the infield. Our infield is so packed. That's why I thought at first, once we traded and got him, that Curtis Mead was going to be gone. But if he can stick in center field, then there's possibly room for him and Mead to stick around. I had to make a quick adjustment as he did exceed his rookie status in 2025. So he will be going to arbitration for the first time in 2028. Same service class as Brooks Baldwin. Austin Hayes, what a great signing. I wanted the White Sox to get him. I didn't think they would, and they went out and got him. 2-year contract. I don't think he's going to be on the team for 2 years. There's a good chance he's traded at this year's trade deadline. So that's why I put Braden Montgomery, another minor leaguer, high on our prospects list, who's having a great time in the minor leagues. I have him becoming a full-timer by 2027. That might happen sooner, which if that happens sooner, that's a positive thing. We've got Brooks Baldwin. I've got him penciled in as our fourth outfielder. I'm a big fan of Brooks Baldwin. He's a guy that might be getting squeezed out of playing time. He's so versatile. He can play in the outfield. He can play in the infield. And he's a switch hitter. You always got to love that. So much flexibility, both sides of the ball. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I just want to shout it out again here that Corey Lee has been working on being an outfielder. So we'll see. Does he push his way into being the fourth outfielder? I'm not a big fan of Derek Hill, Everson Pereira. I don't know. We'll have to see what spring training looks like. But I want to have Corey Lee ahead of all those guys. Maybe he's the last guy on the bench, but I don't want to lose him for nothing. I'm a big Corey Lee fan. Bigger than I should be, I know. And DH, we got Murakami. We got him on a 2-year deal. He might get traded. I hope he's at least with us for the first full season. And then does he get traded in the offseason? Does he get traded before the deadline next year? Or do the Sox do really well and surprise a lot of people? And Murakami has a great time and he wants to sign an extension. All of these things are possible. Let's see. And then I've got Tim Elko penciled in beyond him. We'll see what happens there. And as I say, the more black ink, the better. Colored ink means question marks. And this last slide has the most color on it, which you would think would mean bad news. But there's a lot of color on here because there are just so many exciting possibilities. First off, we got Shane Smith coming back. I have him as our number one. I think that's fair. He was our all-star. He had a bit of a slump in the middle of the summer, but he started strong, finished strong. He had a great year overall. Under team control through 2030. That's where I'm keeping him. Davis Martin. I'm a big fan of both Davis Martin and Drew Thorpe. So I've got Davis Martin number 2 in our offseason pickup from Asia. Anthony Kay coming back. We have him for 2 years plus an option. Red ink. It's an option. We don't know if that's going to be picked up or not. Also, he might be traded. We'll see. I've got Noah Schultz coming in after then. Noah Schultz is going to force his way onto this team before 2028. Just based on the openings we have under the contracts and the team control in place, that's why things land the way they do. But then for the number 4 and 5 starters in the rotation, there's just so many possibilities. Like I said, I'm a fan of Drew Thorpe, so I put him there in black. He'll be one of our starters no matter what. Then we have Sean Burke, last year's opening day starter, who had a pretty good season, especially for a rookie year, but he still has a lot to prove. And Jonathan Cannon battling it out for the number 5 spot. Also, here's the wild cards. Mike Vassell, who has experience starting in the minors and in his previous life. We've heard that he is working out to be able to shoulder starters innings. I think that's a long shot, but it's possible. I loved him as a long reliever. Sean Newcomb is another recent pickup. Something that is favorable for him is that he's a lefty. Anthony Kay right now is our only other lefty starter, so he could push his way into the starting lineup, or not the starting lineup, but the starting rotation because he's left-handed. Not to start the season, but Hagen Smith is another guy who we're going to see somewhere on this chart in the future. And David Sandlin, just a very recent pickup from Boston, minor leaguer, kind of high up among the Boston prospects. I think he has a chance to make an impact in the starting rotation, not this year, but sometime fairly soon, 2027, 2028 at the latest. Just look at that starting rotation. Realistically, I see 8 people really duking it out for that starting rotation. That's Shane Smith, Davis Martin, Anthony Kay, Drew Thorpe, Mike Vassell, Sean Newcomb, Sean Burke, and Jonathan Cannon. And a number of these guys that don't make it into the rotation will be in the bullpen. So there'll be possible swing guys. There'll be people that could be multi-inning relievers. And all of those guys have major league experience. So, man alive, there's just so much more to be excited about with this team than there was last year. Looking at the closer role, we had just no idea last year. But this year we have somebody in Grant Taylor who has experience. He looked really good back there. He's a guy who could also possibly work his way into a starting rotation job. But I think he's enjoying the working out of the bullpen. And then, of course, we picked up Sir Anthony Dominguez on a free agent deal with an option for a 3rd year. We'll see how things shake out. Things might evolve as the season goes on, but we have more experience in the bullpen than we've had last year. We had a lot of games, especially the last 2 years, where the Sox had a lead going into late in the game and that lead slipped away. We've got more experience back there now, more proven arms, people that can hopefully lock these games down. Another reason to be excited. And another reason that the White Sox, I think, are a sneaky good team this year. I'm not saying that they're playoff bound, but they might be a lot more to playing 500 baseball than a lot of people are giving them credit for. I'll go on record here and I'll full frame it for this. The White Sox will not be the worst team in the American League this year. Definitely not the worst team in baseball. They might not even be the worst team in the division. The Twins, they've got some pieces, but man, they traded away so much at the deadline last year. And I think that really sends a message. Plus, then they didn't do anything in the offseason, I think that really sends a message to the team that we're not even trying this year. And it's tough to get up and play as a professional player when you know the team is not supposed to do anything. The front office doesn't have your back at all. The White Sox could sneak out of the basement in the Central this year. They will definitely be ahead of teams like the Nationals, the Rockies, and maybe the Angels too. White Sox could be by far not the worst team in the American League this year. And I know that's setting a very low bar, but that's still exciting compared to what we've just had to live through. So that's it for today. Let me know any players that you have a difference of opinion on. Let me know if there's anybody that you wish I talked about more in this video. There probably won't be any other external additions to the team. I can't imagine at this point, unless there's a trade for somebody like Lenyn Sosa, who is getting really pushed out of playing time. And there's still a lot of other teams out there that were hoping to get in on Brendan Donovan, other middle infielders that slipped away from them. Maybe somebody wants to make a trade for Lenyn Sosa, and the White Sox get some more prospects out of him. Not a ton, but something. He had 22 home runs last year. That's not nothing, especially for somebody that can handle-ish second base, definitely handle first base. Anyway, thanks for watching. And in just about 2 weeks, let's play ball.